Hello, guys. Welcome to Call Kar.
Yaaar. Call kar yaar, 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 call kar yaar. Ananya, I have something to tell you, and that really struck with me because I had no idea that such thinking actually is still prevalent, and it did like really blow my mind off. So I was at a friend's promotional party, right? She got promoted, she got an increment. Everything was so hunky dory, very happy for her, everything. And then she tells me that her partner was not really happy with the promotion because now she's going to be getting paid more than him. And I was like, in this economy, it's so good that somebody is getting paid more. Why is there a competition as to who's getting paid more, the man or the woman? I I just could not like process that.
Firstly, congrats to your friend because it is a huge thing. It's her hard work that's got her promoted, etc. But secondly, really, I generally didn't. I still feel a lot of men, though seem progressive, aren't. But all of this can't be answered without answering a fundamental question, right? Let's go to the whole root cause. Like, what is the meaning of independence? For which, be it whichever gender, what does independence mean,
And
right?
mhm.
Mm. No, please continue.
To me, I think independence is the freedom to choose and the freedom to be, because you can choose to do whatever it is that you want. And it can be financial, it can be societally, being accepted that whatever you want to do, you can do. And it can also mean emotional. Like for me, emotional independence is a major thing where my emotions are not at your ownership. You get me? I can be whoever I want to be without you having to dictate my emotions. Is it the same for you?
I mean, yeah. When you first say independence, for me, the first thing that comes into my head is financial independence. I think it is a very prominent thing in women nowadays, and I'm very happy for that. And I really think, at the end of the day, in my head, in simple words, the way I am, being independent is equal to you do you, brother. If it is brother or sister, right? Be it waking up in the morning, choosing to do something which people conventionally don't do. It is your lifestyle, it is your decision, it is the way you think, it is your paisa, it's everything you, right? You can take advices, but at the end of the day, it is your independence as a whole. But Kushi, I know you as a person, right? I know how independent you are. Um, do you have you ever felt uncomfortable in your own independence? A. And B, has anyone else made you feel uncomfortable in a way?
Um, I have felt uncomfortable in my own independence. Yes, because again, independence is, while it sounds like a rose-tinted glass with everything that is perfect, it also means that you have to accept the consequences of your decisions, right? When you are not independent or when you are choosing to let somebody else make a decision for you can put the blame on them. If the decision doesn't go your way, you can be like, अच्छा ठीक है आपने ये choose किया था, it's not on me. When you are independent, whatever route happens is because of you and solely you. It was your doing. So 100% the consequences of something that major are also there. So I have felt uncomfortable by it. It is still something that I'm learning to fully grasp because I don't know how to sometimes handle my emotions independent of others. Right? Sometimes being human, I would want to rely on somebody, but I've also growing up being told that, oh, I would want to raise you to be emotionally independent also, which I'm still trying to adapt to and I'm still trying to learn. So I have also been uncomfortable, and 100% people, so everything, every single time, I think, South Asian woman being independent is not something that a lot of South Asian men can handle. So a lot of men have made me feel very uncomfortable with my independence, but it is what it is. What about you?
But can we backtrack a little bit?
Mm-hmm.
You spoke about you feeling that you have to be emotionally independent.
Yeah.
But also humans are social beings. So how does that work out? Do I make sense? Right? You are a social being, so you are going to be emotionally independent. You are going to be social. Right? Why do you have to either a hide your emotions? See, again, it's your perspective and you do you, sister. But why do you have to hide it? Or what makes you want to be emotionally independent? In
Um,
easier words.
I don't think it is necessarily hiding my emotions because, again, like you mentioned, humans are social beings. Humans would want to share with everybody else. I don't think it is necessarily the fact that I have to hide them, but the fact that when I was growing up, I was told, because again, I used to project my emotions onto everybody else. Right. So, as a method of regulation, I was told that you need to be independent, and these are your emotions, independent of everything else that is happening around you. You can't constantly keep blaming situations and scenarios for acting out. That was what the learning was basically. That suppose if I've had a bad day at school, I can't come and put it on my parents because my emotions at school are independent from my emotions at home, and I should be able to separate the two. That was the point of it. But sometimes it also gets to the point where it's like, okay, no, you know what, you're independent, so please learn how to deal with your emotions on your own, which is still something, like I mentioned, I'm grasping with. But whenever I learn, you guys are on this journey to see it. So yeah. But have you ever felt uncomfortable? Because it can be.
See, I, like you said, you are the owner of your decisions. I believe that if a decision goes off, it was for me to learn something from there, regardless of the situation, right? So for me, from childhood, I have been taught to be independent, right? I think it's a very important skill that my parents did try their best to inculcate into me. From, I remember, in, I think I was maybe 4 5 years old, and we'd gone to KM Trading, which is a very famous center in Dubai, used to be. And we went to buy some shoes, right? I spent an hour. I made the people who work there take all the shoes outside, looked at all of them. After an hour, went like, no, I don't want anything, and I walked off. From such a small decision to a decision of moving to UK to do my masters, everything has been my decision. Has it been influenced by my parents? Yes. But I, like you said, for a very long time, when a decision didn't work out in my life, blamed it on my parents. And I've come to a point right now where I'm just like, if XYZ does not work out, it is solely my choice. Did I hear, did I take their advice? Yes. But at the end of the day, it was my doing. So I can't blame it on anyone else. But coming to the second point of if someone has made me feel uncomfortable, I don't see, your whole life you were dependent on your parents. And in a Desi household, it's all about family, right? So when I got a job, my parents in the starting were like, oh, your money, no, don't spend your money, we will pay, etc. So it, I think, made them uncomfortable in a way,
Mm.
you know. So
And
yeah,
I'm
I don't
sure,
think.
see, I'm sure when they were coming at you for not spending your money also, I'm sure their intention was always the best to save up, right? But but that's how we've also been conditioned while we're growing up, is that women are supposed to be dependent on somebody else, right? Be it our parents, or then and then be our partners, and then our sons, not specifically daughters also, not children also, our sons. We were taught that beta ghar ka chirag hai, and we will be dependent on them, which is sort of maybe why, despite the progressive nature of our generation, that we know women are working and women are encouraged to work, sometimes when they actually see it in practicality, they are still very uncomfortable by it. Don't you think?
100% agreed, right? um there is, I saw one of my friend, and she was saying like, for her, I think she had like a lot of divorce or something in her household, and obviously her dad has been scarred from it, right? So I remember her coming and telling me, "Oh, my father has told me if you ever get a divorce, don't come back to me." And that has caused a lot of problems in her. Like, she has overthought it pro max. But what I told her was the fact that if you ever get a divorce, why do you have to go back to him? You know, if you are financially independent, if you are able to take care of yourself, you're not dependent on anyone, you don't go back to anyone, right? Yes, would it be a very difficult, and obviously it's coming from a very hypothetical situation, but if you were ever put in that situation, it is for you to learn something from it. But even in this generation, of a lot of people think that, oh, if you ever get XYZ, if you get divorced, you have to come back home. We are not an object that goes up and down, you know. We can take care of ourselves.
That is a very brilliant point that you mentioned, because I think that is why they get so uncomfortable with us being independent, is because now they no longer have control over us, right? It was our dependence on them was used as a way to control us, to control women in general. I meant men used to use the fact that women were dependent financially or societally or emotionally dependent on them as a way to abuse the power that was given to them. And now the fact that women are actually breaking that mold, maybe that is why it is so uncomfortable, is now because now they no longer have that control and they no longer have that power over us. It's a power play happening basically. Not the cricket wala, huh?
But why? No, but why should they have the control? Can we start from basics as to why should one gender have a control over the other? A. B. When you said, under scenario, like a lot of people who think they're progressive in quotes, um, if a woman starts earning more than them, they get insecure. Like your example. Why? If he is putting 8 hours in a job, even she is. And it is her time for her, whatever is in her destiny has come true. So who is he to question that?
The thing
Why is
is,
it such a
coming
hmm?
back to your question as to why a specific gender has to control the other gender, is because ever since the beginning of time, maybe, it has been conditioned that a man is one who can A, provide, B, lead, and a woman who is one who can nurture and support, right? Now, it was done with very good intention. Of course, again, it was always done with very good intention that everybody has to have their roles figured out in society, and so that a society can function properly. However, at one point, that craziness or that passion to lead got into someone's mind so much that they started controlling the other gender and not letting them lead with peace, right? Which is why it became such a thing that women can't be independent, because masculinity is about being a step ahead of the women. So if you are earning more than your female partner, you are more masculine. And if, suppose in my example, the fact that the man's partner, who is a woman, she is earning more, it would hit his masculinity. Very toxic masculinity, but it would hurt that because it hit right where it hurts. Get me?
But can I put some other point? You said men were made to lead, right? And I heard this somewhere, and I don't know how accurate it is because I've not researched much about it. But there was this, someone said this line where apparently research is done, and when a huge, like big corporates or big MNCs, when something goes into shit show, they need someone to figure out all the mess, they hire a woman because women can multitask. So the misconception that women or multitask and lead, let's put that also out there. I don't think a uh this topic is very pissing me off actually. In the fact that, and if it works out, she's not given credit. If it does not work out, it's put on her head, right? in a household, like imagine a man is leading, right? According to the words you've used right now, if you look if at a homemaker, if she messes up in any way, she doesn't get up, her alarm doesn't work, her everyone's day goes shit. She's leading that boat. She's the captain of that boat. If she does not schedule what is made at home, you know, the grocery plan or grocery chart is not made or whatever it's called, then what are they going to eat? She is leading, she is the captain of that boat. So how can we give men the whole what do you say, the whole, yeah, they, yes, they may be good at it, but so are women.
No, 100%. See, there's no denying that men are not good leaders, or women are not good leaders, or men are not good nurturers, and women are not good nurturers. There's no denying that. That is not the sort of debate, because, again, that debate is very archaic, right? That debate was made at the beginning of time that men were supposed to do this, women were supposed to do this. And since then, the world has evolved into women taking on much multifaceted roles, and men also taking on much multifaceted roles, 100%. But that is why it can sometimes become an issue, is because people have not evolved in their thinking. That's exactly what I meant, is that people have not evolved in their thinking. Men still believe in the toxic masculinity, that I have to be on top in terms of the money earned, in terms of, how the house runs, in terms of all of those things, so that they can be a leader in their heads, which is why they get so uncomfortable when a woman is finally breaking that mold, because now you don't have to be the leader. Now we're equals. You get me? It reminded me of a scene from Dil Dhadakne Do, a movie that we watched together, I think. And in that scene, Priyanka's husband was telling Farhan Akhtar's character that, we are quite a progressive household. We allow our women to work. Like before her, there was nobody in our household who was allowed to have a business. I allowed her. And I don't remember what Farhan Akhtar said entirely, but he said that if
He
you're,
said, hmm,
continue. No, you would know.
no, no. He said that, why are you, who are you to allow her?
Yeah,
In a basic synopsis.
exactly.
And that's so true. See, I would say it like this, and I don't know if I'm right. In the past, you are only exposed to your house. You know, कि house में क्या हो रहा है, घर में क्या हो रहा है. So there you see a man having more power, right? But right now, in a time like 21st century, you are exposed to movies, you're exposed to the internet. Then if you don't change or maybe think
Evolve.
about it,
Yeah.
then evolve, it is completely,
It's your
I
fault.
want to say their fault. I want to say it's
It
your
is
fault,
their
but
fault.
I just try to,
No, we
yeah.
don't need to be
Um,
politically correct in that sense, because it is at the end of the day, when you have the disposal of all worldly resources at your feet, right? After that, if you choose to still believe in an archaic thinking and an archaic mindset, then I'm sorry, but it is your laziness, and it is you not wanting to change and you not wanting to adapt with the times. And that is very clearly visible a lot of the times. When men are talking, you can very clearly tell who has put in the work to evolve and to learn, and who has not.
but can we put it like this also? Can we backtrack a little bit? What if they want to change, but it's not enabled in a way that, you know, these mama's boys, um, in a single, what do you call this?
Snap.
Snap. In a single snap of a second, if you're getting everything you want, from like your chaddis being washed to like your food being served, and you lived a life like that, and then you're like, okay, now I want to do, but if I can't, or I don't know how to. Like,
This
I
reminds me
feel
of
like,
Rocky and Rani for some reason,
okay,
because I love that movie. Shout out. But it reminds me of that because the situation that you've mentioned is so similar. He was exactly like that. He was a mama's boy. He was a spoiled brat. He was all of that, and then he decided to change. It could be because of love. It could be because of whatever is the force behind your change. Great. there are still some people who refuse to change. Again, change is going to be hard no matter what, for anything, right? If you're going to change, if suppose today you're going to change your routine and going to start working out, in the first month it's not going to come naturally to you. It's going to be a conscious mindset change, that I need to get up and I need to go out and work out. Similarly here as well, you need to make that constant conscious change and conscious effort to change. इट इज नॉट गोइंग टू जस्ट कम बीइंग लाइक अच्छा ठीक है आज मैं चेंज करता हूँ, आज मैं प्रोग्रेसिव बनूंगा, आज मैं इंडिपेंडेंट औरतों को इनेबल करूंगा. When you have been so used to women doing things for you and now you have to be working alongside a woman who is independent and who won't necessarily do all the things for you, that is going to be a big adjustment for both.
Can I ask you a question? I want to cut you off right now because I may forget this question. If I am getting a 5-star treatment every day of my life, why will I want it to change? Like, I am getting mera kam ho raha hai. We are selfish beings like that. So if from a man's perspective, okay, I see that women are going through this, so I will.
Because
Why would they do that?
unfortunately, then you're going to be left alone in most cases. Because a man, see, if adaptability is the most important skill, correct? A woman is adapting to whatever is being put through, and thrown at her. Suppose women earlier were told to run the houses, they were running houses. Now, during the World War, the First World War is actually when women started to go out and started working. We did that as well. We adapted to that. We were never taught that. It was hard for us. We were also getting good treatment at home. We went out and we put ourselves through that and went. We adapted. Now, in the economy that there is, women are going to be working, women are going to keep evolving, right? If you don't match up and you don't evolve, then unfortunately, there is going to be a big strata between you and women, and you will be left alone. If you don't want to be left alone, and if you want to be aligned in the mindset of the person that you're going to be with for the rest of your life, it is important that you evolve, right? For example, I can give you a ghar ka example where my dad was from a very normal, conventional, I will say conventional also, to the point where in that back in the time, my grandmom didn't work. You know, my aunts didn't work. He has not seen that environment growing up. When he met my mom, they're a love marriage. So when he met my mom, she was of a very progressive household, despite my nani not working. My nanu was someone who was extremely progressive and he taught her to be independent. Both his daughters, he taught them to be independent and to do whatever they wanted to do, right? When they were deciding to get married, my mom said, I will continue to work. I will not stop. My dad had two choices. He could have either said, no, that's not acceptable, or he could have evolved and said that, okay, you know what, it's going to be hard. I'm going to have to, A, learn to get used to it myself. B, I'm going to have to convince my entire family that this is going to be the new normal in our household and that they have to accept it because I love you. And three, I am going to have to be okay with raising my kids that way as well. Guess which one my dad did? He did option two. You, whatever, for whatever reason you make that change is up to you. But 100%, if you don't, if you are so used to that comfort zone, you're not going to grow. To grow, to close that strata, and to be with somebody who you're aligned with, you will have to go out there and put in the work, if that makes sense.
It makes sense.
Yeah.
It makes sense, but I also feel it's very circumstantial. It is situation based. I was watching this reel very recently, and I genuinely, if I remembered and I knew this is a topic we're going to talk about, I would have saved it. But it's about this person who was in, a lot of people go and talk to random people in Marine Drive. It's become a thing in Mumbai. And this dude is asking, imagine you love this woman, but she's not okay. She and your mother don't get along, or something like that in that aspect, like something of some no joke in that aspect. And most of the men, actually all, I think, or most of them said no, I wouldn't be with her because, and one actually went and continued saying that I'm bringing her home to take care of my family. Why is she not doing it? So there, if most of the men, and I'm talking about a random video in a random place, a person just asking, I think it's called walkathon or something, a walk talkathon. I don't even know what it's called. You're randomly going and asking people questions, and most of them are saying no. Because, and one comes to things, I don't know if you're that progressive. Can I be very honest? I don't think, okay, either it's circumstantial that a person changes, or B, I feel it is the women
100%. See,
of that
we
house.
are not that progressive yet, right? The society is still not advanced to that level yet where there is a major strata gap. But that doesn't mean that it won't happen, right? Do you want to brace yourself? See, either you could be here, wait for that strata gap to be there, and then close it by having to take a major leap, or you could gradually close it. It is on you. 100%. Like you mentioned, it is also the woman's responsibility. Because sometimes the independence not being given to a woman or not being respected of a woman is because of another woman, right? So it has to be a woman's responsibility as well to make sure that when she is raising a family, along with her husband, of course, she's enabling them to be a independent individuals themselves so that they know. If you are raising a mama's boy जिसके लिए सारा काम हो जाएगा तो उनको खुद को independence नहीं समझ में आएगी and then they won't appreciate that in another person themselves, right? A, that. B, you have to enable them to think of the other gender as well. I think a good example of that, the thing is, it's so surprising to me that there are still so many men who say that because they're icons and they're legends. Suppose if you're talking about Indian men, like at least 60-70% of the Indian men love Virat Kohli, who is such a beacon of, being like, no, my wife is independent and she's great and this and that. And in this generation, forget Virat Kohli, forget anybody else. There are so many representatives and so many examples that you have. If you just look around, there are a lot of positive examples also. You need to take from them in a positive manner. विराट कोहली की हेयर स्टाइल कॉपी करने से ना आप बन नहीं जाते विराट कोहली. You have to also look at his mindset.
Hmm.
But yeah,
I feel, even I think there was a scenario which Alia Bhatt had said, and again, speaking about Rocky or Rani, I think they were doing the Kashmir segment, and Raha was with her. And after a point, she realized that, you know what, I am not able to handle a kid and doing shooting the film. And she actually called Ranbir Kapoor, and apparently he was shooting something or something, and he postponed his shoot, came and picked up Raha and took care of her. And it's not, and all I'm saying is, it is just respect you give other person's work and other person as a being. If you respect, if you love the other person, you will let them be, because that's what you fell in love with, right? So let even women just be themselves, live their life, enjoy. You, again, you guys are two different individuals who are living two lives, but just come together because you guys, whatever, you love each other or whatever. You just, it's a Venn diagram, but that doesn't mean I'm going to stop living my life. I'm still going to do what I feel like doing. you know in the constitution it's written that you have rights. In life also, I am an individual with rights, so let me just be.
100%. The thing is, if you're talking about a romantic relationship perspective entirely, I saw this one post that said that 1 plus 1 equals 11 and not 2, right?
Correct.
Always, because when
Yeah.
one individual comes together, they don't fuse into one. They walk alongside each other. And that is the biggest learning you can ever have, is that they are still their own person. They are still going to be independent. They are going to have flaws. They're going to have all their good things, positive things also. And you need to let that be. You need to let them be independent of you, which is just something that some people need to understand. Because I think A, like we mentioned, the toxic masculinity has really gotten to a lot of people. And actually, on that note, I would want to ask you something. If you had to describe a secure man, I was asked this question actually. I was on a drive with somebody and I was asked this question that if I had to describe a secure man, a man asked me this and I was very happy. What would you say?
um, who am I and why should I secure a man?
No, I'm not asking you to secure a man or what you would do to secure a man. I'm saying if I tell you to describe a secure man, like when we say that,
Okay, sorry. Okay, ha. I feel a secure human being. I would say secure human being, right? I don't want to put genders here. Um, depend right now toxic masculinity, which is true. For me, a secure man or a secure person would just be a person who minds their own business. Um, I am living my life, you're living your life. What I wear, my choice. What I do, my choice. Yes, there are decisions if I'm in a romantic relationship with someone that depends on both of us, that's where we can have a conversation, maybe come to a conclusion, etc. Right? When it is not pertaining to both of us as individuals, it's only about my life or my being, just let me be. I don't mind someone who can give me maybe if I'm wearing something, be like, oh, you know what? Maybe in this you may not look this good, or do you want to not do you want to change, but like, oh, what if you wear that? I can take for that day. I can take that consideration. Or if I'm buying a dress, oh, this how this dress look. Oh, maybe this dress doesn't work out. At the end, you're just giving me your advice. You're giving me your advice, and I listen to it, but it's my decision to implement it or not. If I want to wear it and I like it, it's my body, it's me, let me be. And regardless, I'm not talking about even romantic, even any man on the street, you know, just let a woman be, and you will also be very happy. I also, my matlab, all women also be very happy. What about you though?
so I remember the answer that I did give them, and I'm going to stick to that answer, is that for me, a secure man is one who is not arrogant about being a man, right? जिसको मर्द होने का गुरूर नहीं होता, because that is something that is very visible in today's day and time, is that an alpha male is this one who does this, and sigma male, and I'm like, I don't understand these concepts. Exactly. But a secure man to me, because I haven't heard of a lot of people talking about secure women. Women are however they are, it's not gotten to an extent that bad that you need to speak about it at least, right? A secure man is a man who does not have that much of a gurur about being a man, firstly. B is extremely respectful of everybody and all beings. I'm not even talking about necessarily in a romantic relationship, just be respectful. Three, who is empathetic and expressive of their emotions or knows how to handle their emotions. And four, I think, is just, you know, encouraging people to let them be who they are. Not encouraging people to be a certain way. Sometimes when it suits their motto, they let you be a certain way. Sometimes when it doesn't, they don't. Encouraging people to be who they are is very important.
You
So,
know what I want when you said this line right now, that women may not have reached the place where they need
yeah,
security. I feel women are also very insecure of other women,
yeah,
or women bring other women down.
100%.
Now, if men also joining that thing, at the end, that one woman, how much boj will she take? So let people just be,
B,
guys.
yeah,
Just be. No C, no D, just be.
C.
But with that, we go to our next segment, which is dive in deep.
Okay.
This year for Christmas I want dive in deep.
So, Ananya, I have a question for you for diving deep. What do you think of performative progressiveness?
I think a lot of men do it. I feel, can you hide for that long? Can you perform for that long? Uh, a lot of men do it because I know for a fact that even men have different conversations when they're alone and when they're with people. And do you remember the whole, I think, Delhi case somewhere where there was a whole group chat called Boys Locker Room Talks or something like that? Either be upright front, ki you are like this, or don't, like, no.
Yeah, I agree. I would be a lot more comfortable with people who would be very orthodox and be okay with that than not.
Your friend or someone at the end of the day you meet on a date and you feel like he's XYZ, and after you start dating him you realize he's not XYZ, he's ABC. So did you like that person, the love you saw, or the person you loved, is it a facade or is it actual?
That
Like
is a very good point.
how can you like differentiate, and why to differentiate, you know? Yeah, if you know you can't have these conversations in front of women, then why are you even having them? You know it's wrong in a way.
Then, yeah, then maybe
Then
there's a
what?
problem.
There's a problem in you. Sorry, whoever you are.
Mm. No, I meant there's a problem. Okay, I meant there's a problem in general, not in specific people, but okay, go ahead.
No, whoever does performative
Progressiveness,
progressiveness.
yes, 100%.
All of you. Stop putting a mask. I
Ananya
know
is
you'd
going to
have fake
target.
it till you. I know there's a thing called fake it till you make it, but that's for life instances, not for stuff like this. But I also have a question for you.
Go ahead.
You are an independent woman, right? A lot of people are independent women. Do you think independent women are a little bit more defensive or dismissive because of their past experiences?
Yes, can be. Can be. See, the thing is, again, like we mentioned, a lot of people haven't witnessed this growing up, right? Independent women. So it's such a new concept still for a lot of people. Hence, they don't entirely understand it, and then they try projecting the older way of being onto you. But you are not in that place anymore. You have moved slightly forward, so you keep being pulled back. Hence, I think you have to push back with or even more force to be able to continue moving forward sometimes. So, yes, I do think that it does happen. Again, I'm not saying it's the healthiest way to deal with it because when you're trying to introduce a new concept to something, a new concept to someone, and you be very defensive, it might not come out in the healthiest way of them accepting the concept, right? Because they might think like, oh, all independent women are like this. It puts a notion in their head. It's not the healthiest, but it does happen because of the reason that you mentioned. Yeah.
But don't wait. Can we just go back? Why is it an independent woman's job to teach another person what independent women look like? A. B. Imagine that in a household which is maybe toxic, or you see this growing up and you want a change, right? So since then you started being rebellion, right? And you're rebellious. Sorry, English. My English bad. You're become so rebellious and you're done speaking the same point, trying to prove your point every now and then. So if that woman has become defensive, it's because of a past experience and what has happened. So I don't think it's
No,
bad
100%. That's what
or
it's,
it's
see,
hmm,
it's not like you mentioned, why is it an independent woman's job to teach somebody? It's not. Right? It's not. But again, sometimes when you're trying to make a change, you have to sometimes be the advocate for society as well, right? Because society now sees you as a representative. I was talking to somebody who did not understand emotional independence, and when we were constantly talking about it, it was such a hassle for me to keep explaining myself. But, and at one point, I was ready to give up. I was just like, sir, you understand whatever you want to understand of me, but this is how I am. I was going to do that. And then at one point, I did realize that it's not that they are not understanding of it, it's that they're trying to learn and they're asking questions. Sometimes that is the case. And then it's like, okay, maybe you haven't seen somebody who's as emotionally independent as I could be. So you would be like, okay, let me ask her these questions and why she is the way she is and why this and why that. And those questions to me can get very irritating because I keep thinking, how many times do I have to explain myself? But to somebody who's watching and learning a new concept, it's valid. So I take it from that point of view that, okay, if they're even asking questions, as long as they're not trying to dismiss me as well, I will still answer all the questions that you have. If you are trying to dismiss me, then I'm sorry, I can understand where the disrespect is and I move out.
Yeah, makes sense. Should we go to our last segment?
That was a lot of heavy conversation. Let's go fold our hands a little bit. Chalo,
So,
manifest karo.
what are you manifesting?
Oh, for this week, I have Diwali coming up. So I'm manifesting a fun-filled Diwali. This is going to be, of course, post Diwali for you guys. So happy belated Diwali. We hope you've had a very, very nice and fun Diwali. Happy Diwali, but for us, Diwali is coming real time. So we hope to have, I mean, me and my family hope to have a fun-filled Diwali. Every Diwali, I do end up missing my Nani a little too much. So I hope that this time around also I can miss her. And yeah, I think that's my manifestation for this week. What about you?
Um, I So my mom's told me I've become a little too negative in life. So I'm just going to manifest that I am the best. I am here to slay. I am the going to be the corporate slave in the future, and I'm very happy with that. That's all I manifest. But are you ready?
Yes, my hands are folded.
Hello, universe. What's up, brother?
We love you.
We love you, and we love you guys. So see you soon in the next episode. Bye bye.
Bye bye.